All right, guys. So I've been debating about whether I was going to talk about some more about this meat eating thing, but it's just too many things that just keep coming up surrounding it. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Let me see if I can keep this under 7 or 8 minutes. Um, I remember a while back, guys, I had looked up a gematria search under my government name, and one of the phrases was "your feet stink," and I was like, oh my god, like quit lying. Like I wash my feet every 48 hours. And by the way, you shouldn't wash your feet every 48 hours. You need to wash your feet every day. Okay, that's number one. Number two is what I found out, guys, is that, well, first of all, Joseph Chapelon, what he said about eating meat was that basically it pollutes the body. Once again, it pollutes the body. The other day, I did a narration, and we heard people talking about parasites, and one guy was talking about how basically you eat this meat and stuff like that, and he said the same thing. You pollute your body. I mean, we have several people across several different regions. That's how I compare and contrast. If you have several different races of people, including Muslims, who you know do the whole halal thing, if you can get several races of people across the world to all come to a consensus that eating meat is not proper, 9 times out of 10, that means what they're saying is true confirmation. That's why it's good to have two phones, y'all. Um, so eating meat pollutes the body, and I told you guys, I'm not gonna come in here and act like I'm just gonna stop eating meat. No, it's most likely it's not gonna happen. But I am gonna eat a lot cleaner though. I'm probably only gonna eat meat like once a week, maybe red meat once a month. Yesterday I told you guys I had a turkey wrap. It was good. It tasted wonderful. You get to the point where you get sick of eating the same stuff every day, and I don't have everything accessible for me to just to go completely vegan. But I think like the turkey wrap that I had yesterday, it didn't really have a lot of turkey on it at all. It was mostly lettuce and vegetables. So I don't think it's such a bad thing. My whole thing was, I told you guys you probably want to limit that down to just like going out on Fridays and doing what you want to do, because you don't want to you don't want to drive yourself crazy. Like Bobby Hemmett say, life is too fucked up to deny yourself of what you want to eat, for God's sakes. I mean, if it doesn't give you an allergic reaction or some shit like that, you just do the best you can. But my whole advice was, maybe people should just start eating meat, on a Friday night or something when you go out, you know, something like that. And then just because it's gonna take a week for you to clean that shit out. But no, most people eat meat every day, and not only every day, several times every day. And so I noticed, guys, when I stop eating meat, guess what? My feet doesn't stink anymore. How do I know my feet don't stink anymore? Well, first of all, I wash my feet every single day. I love using myself as a crash test dummy too, so I can come on here and tell you guys. I don't have to act like I'm pointing a finger. Like I told you guys, I use myself as a crash test dummy, and then I'll come on here and tell y'all what's up. Most people don't like to talk about themselves. They like to point the finger and extend everything outwardly, but I want to know more about what's going on with an individual instead of them throwing things outwardly. What's going on with you? Because then that's when you can really tell if somebody's faking it or not. What exactly is going on in your world? I want to know. I tell people what's going on with me, so nobody can come and say, "Oh, you're arrogant. Oh, you this. Oh, you that." How am I that? When I talk about my faults with you guys. I talk about myself with you. I make fun of myself with you guys. So how could I be arrogant? That doesn't make any sense. Stop it. That's why nobody come to my face and say anything, because they know it's not true, whatever they saying. Most of the things that have to do with me is people just being jealous of me. It doesn't matter what I come on here and say about religion or spiritual practices. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, people just straight up jealous of you, because somebody they're not jealous of, they can say whatever they want. They won't attack that person. Especially if you start getting the influence of women. Oh yeah, that causes a lot of jealousy. When men start catching on that, maybe a particular guy is getting more influence from women, that's how you know women really be running shit, not the dudes. The dudes just follow what the women do, what the women like. If the women like it, then the guys they'll be like, who this woman looking at? Who this woman talk about? Who is this woman interested in? Like I told you guys about the going out in public and seeing, these couples, and a woman looks at me and immediately the guy looks at me. So the guy just following what the woman. If the woman looking somewhere, the guy looking that way. That's why I told you guys, if I see couples and I see a woman staring at me, which is kind of hard not to stare at me because I'm shining bright like a diamond, I just ignore them completely because I know I know to get up. You know what I'm saying? So now, not only do I wash my feet every 24 hours, I noticed that my feet don't have the same smell it did before. Even when I was eating meat, washing it every day, because I went into a testing period where I was still eating meat every day, every other day, and washing my feet every 24 hours, and I still smelled that smell. But when I got off eating the meat, and then your colon cleans out, your feet don't smell like that no more. So eating, eating meat, it not only pollutes the body, it causes body odor, and a lot of things that people have accepted as normal is not normal at all. Like having allergies, certain odors coming from the body, your underarms, which I mean, your underarms are going to smell eventually, no matter what you do. But we're just talking about, when your body is polluted, you got to put on your underarms are going to reek more than normal. But people have accepted it as normal. It's just strange how people have accepted things to be normal at the expense of being able. Oh, I want because I want to eat some animals every day, and like really, when you look at that, it don't make sense. And me personally, I mean, I could take it down to the nitty gritty. Why don't I want to eat animals so much? Well, if I had a farm, I don't think I would want to slaughter any animals just to eat it. That something about that wouldn't really sit well with me. I got a farm, I got animals. Like I want to play with the animals. I don't want to slaughter them and eat them. I don't want to sit there and run around like Rocky and catch some chicken and then have to pluck all the feathers out and slaughter it and then sit down at the table with the family. And I'll be thinking about how that chicken looked before I slaughtered it. So if I can't kill an animal on my own, with my own bare hands and feel good about it, why am I eating meat in the first place? Doesn't make any sense. So now I'm smelling a lot better, guys. And I just came on here to tell you guys my feet is not stinking anymore. Matter of fact, I don't even think that's on. It disappeared from my gematria under my government name. It disappeared. You see how that goes? Damn, it's like I am a tarot card reader. I'm just doing it a different way. Oh my God, this stuff is crazy. I take the tarot card readers a lot seriously now. When I seen the Kaylee Anthony thing show up in my gematria, which I'm going to do another gematria under my Muslim name, guys. See if we can find anything else. But when I seen Kaylee Anthony, I heard a tarot card reader bring up Kaylee Anthony just a few days ago. And there's some other things I notice when I do a gematria post that I'll see in a tarot card reading post. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so we just going tit for tat here. I say, wow, this is getting interesting, I'm trying to see if anything I want to say about meat before I let you guys go. Eating meat. I think I covered all the bases. But yeah, guys, look, I'm gonna be straight up with y'all, and I would know this. I would know. Most people who eat meat by the time you're in your late 30s, early 40s, you start getting a lot of fat around your belly. You start accumulating a lot of fat. I read I read something that said one of the reasons is it said like the chicken, like when you think you're eating chicken breasts, They said that chicken contains, like, I don't even know, don't quote me, but it contains a lot more fat than it did, like, let's say in the 1950s, for whatever reason. Like the actual flesh of the chicken, it doesn't matter if you're eating chicken breast or what cut of the chicken you're eating. The chicken it has more fat in it than it did a long time ago. So, you're thinking, oh, I want to get lean, let me just eat some chicken. It doesn't work like that. And let's say like bodybuilding, right? Bodybuilders, you think okay, I'm gonna eat a lot of chicken breast. If you notice guys that are like so-called buff or swole, you start noticing when they once again, when they start getting in their late 30s and their early 40s, it's hard. Like, yeah, like they may be walking around with big arms, big chest, and all that, but you notice that their midsection starts getting more squared out, and they're like kind of like they're sacrificing having muscles, but their waist is getting bigger. But they think they're looking good. I mean, ultimately, you want to have a waist almost like kind of like Bruce Lee, right? You shouldn't be getting all this fat around your waist. You shouldn't be going like my waist. I still wear a size 32 pants, and that has not changed. I've wore size 32 pants, waist in a waist, since I was, I don't know, maybe 21, 22 years old. And there have been times where I went up to I don't know, a 34. I never went past a 34 though, because I didn't like the way I was looking. Every time I got up to a 34, I didn't like my body structure. I like my hold on for a minute, yo. I like my waist to be a certain size. I like my waist at a 32, stuff like this. And I can even put on a size 30 pants if I wanted to without a belt. But that would be too skinny. Like, I'd be walking around here looking like some kind of Poindexter or something. I couldn't do that. But anyway, guys, yeah, just to close it out. But this eating meat thing is not sexy looking, guys. I mean, ultimately, you want to have a skinny waist, and you want to have nice arms and nice chest and stuff like that. I'm not saying you gotta weigh 135 pounds like Bruce Lee, but I already told you guys, as as I'm getting older, my ideal weight, I don't want to really be past 155 pounds. I got a picture somewhere where I'm 150 pounds and I look just like Bruce Lee in that picture. It's somewhere out there. Maybe I'll find it. I don't know. And sometimes people will see me and they'll try to make fun of me. Man, your waist so skinny. They know damn well that's how a human being's supposed to look. You be having all these thick ass people trying to make fun of you, talking about you too skinny. Nah, you just too big. That's what it really is. Like I say, most Americans have forgot what a person is actually supposed to look like. You want to know what a people's really supposed to look like? Go watch some videos from the 80s, how people looked from the 80s on their home video recordings. That's how Americans used to look. Now, we can blame other things on eating meat, as far as, well, people from the 1950s used to eat meat. What's up with, well, there's more hormones in the meat now than it was back then. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. But the whole thing I made this video, you're gonna smell a lot better. If a girl, let's say a chick dated me, and she dated another guy who ate meat every day, I guarantee she's gonna find that I smell a hell of a lot better. Even if I do sweat a little bit or I get a little body odor, she would find that it's a lot more palatable than maybe the last person she dated. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I gotta do another video. I'll let y'all later. Peace.